we have a huge show for you guys today, and there was a lot that went on, and we're going to cover all of it. So, not a problem. So, let's dive right into this. So, the big news yesterday was that HBO Max is no longer HBO Max. They are just Max. And this, if you have HBO Max, as I do, or Max, as it will be called, beginning on May 23rd, there's a lot of things that's actually coming to Max. And we'll get to all of this stuff, I promise. So I just wanted to touch upon the actual generalized topic of it. So, um, and this comes from the Hollywood Reporter. Um, HBO Max is now Max. The wait is over. Warner Brothers Discovery on Wednesday unveiled Max, its refreshed streaming service combining programming from both the original HBO streaming service and Disney Plus. Launching May 23rd, Max will be $15.99 a month for the ad-free and $9.99 a month for the ad-supported tier. A third ultimate free version with 4K resolution, 100 offline downloads, and Dolby sound will be available for $19.99 a month. In unveiling the updated product at an event at the Warner Brothers lot in Burbank, JP Pareter, WB's president and CEO of streaming and games, said Max will feature personalized recommendations across platforms for users after they're finishing watching a television show or film. Previously, this was only available on the HBO Max homepage. App and video start times are also expected to be 20 to 30% faster, depending on the device. Peretti said to help address glitchiness, the viewers have long taken issue with the former platform HBO Max. Entering HBO Max will maintain their access to the rebranded HBO to Max at the same price, with profiles, watch history, and other viewing settings porting over to Max. Discovery Plus subscribers will not be impacted at the launch by Max, though they will be given the opportunity to upgrade their subscriptions to Max. Warner Brothers Discovery has announced a number of new programs, including a Harry Potter series, and we're going to get to all this, guys. I just wanted to read this article first. A Harry Potter series, the Conjurer television series, and a new Game of Thrones spinoff based on authors George R. Martin's Dunk and Egg novels, and a Big Bang Theory spinoff. And the company shared previews of The Penguin, which we'll get to, The Sympathizer, The Regime, and True Detective. The match launch comes a year after Warner Media and Discovery completed its $43 billion merger with the company combined company led by David Zaslav. Part of Zaslav's pitch to Hollywood was the creation of a streaming service that could compete with Netflix and Disney Plus by combining the best of HBO's highbrow scripted fare with Discovery's more lowbrow but profitable lifestyle and reality programming. By removing HBO from its Max's branding, WBD is also hoping to appeal to a wider audience that has previously turned away from the streaming service due to HBO's highbrow reputation and higher price point. Peretti said removing HBO from the branding was a part of, quote, preserving and protecting the most iconic trailblazing brand in entertainment, end quote. HBO is not television. HBO is HBO. It needs to stay that way, which is why we will privilege we will privilege in the product experience and not push it to the breaking point by forcing it to take on the full breadth of the new content proposition, Peretti said. To date, Warner Brothers Discovery has 96.1 million streaming subscribers across HBO, HBO Max, and Discovery Plus. The company has not broken out its subscriber numbers per service, though has said Discovery Plus, which will remain a standalone service, is profitable and has low churn. Okay, let's talk about all this because there's a lot to digest. Um, so first and foremost, okay, uh, I don't like the name. I mean, Max just seems very I understand it's one word and they're losing the HBO, but that's what, when HBO began 35, 40 years ago, okay, they, um, that was what it was for. They were the very first ones to do this. And that was, you know, HBO meant home box office. And you knew what HBO was. And over the course of several, several decades, they have managed to put together some of the best programming, okay, ever. Whether it was The Sopranos, whether it was The Wire, whether it's Game of Thrones, or a multitude of other things, okay. Um, Oz, it runs the gamut. Nonetheless, changing it to Max, The Last of Us, more recently, the, the fact that you're changing it to last really, it's not, it just doesn't work for me personally, and I'm sure I'm not in this camp. Um, Now that being said, okay, let's go over the price points real quick, because that's one of the major sticking points. Not sticking points, I should say, but one of the things. Okay, so on the 23rd, so about a month from now, Max will cost $15.99 a month for the ad-free version. Now, I pay $9.99 a month as it is. Okay, I have ad support. I have the for the ad supports. I don't really care because it's what, 30 seconds or a minute. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. Um, I can't see giving them an extra $6 a month not to have ads. Um, so that being said, that's not that big of a deal. The 4K version, okay, being able to actually watch something in 4K and download about 100 titles, it, you have to, the biggest thing you have to understand, guys, is you have to have the, not only the stability in your computer, okay, but you have to have the bandwidth. And on top of all of that, you have to have, you know, the access. So, you know, nowhere in this did it ever say you can watch this on multiple titles and everything else. Now, when we talk about, competing with Netflix, okay, right now, Netflix is, um, d- their marketing is terrible. And I think that, it's one of those things where this could slide in and do something, but we'll see. And we'll talk about this later on in the future. But this isn't going to start for a month. Um, you know, we'll see. It's we'll wait and see. I just did a story the other day about user interface and Hollywood insiders and what their user interface, what they liked, what they didn't like, so on and so forth. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what the user interface is going to be like on this. Is it going to change a lot? Because don't forget, they took off. So at the end of this month, they're taking off 186 titles, and then they're going to be putting on all of this other content. So how is the user interface going to change? And I think that's something to really keep in mind. So we have a comment here by one of our viewers, Alex. I upgraded my wireless plan when HBO Max launched because they promised it would be included as long as we didn't have, as long as we had that wireless plan. Now they're saying we're gonna. Now they're saying we're going to get 6 more months. Dishonest. Yeah, I mean, and to be honest with you, Alex, the thing is that a lot of these phone companies, okay, like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, the only way that one of the major perks, one of the major ways they're going to get you in the door is say, oh, you can buy our latest iPhone and we'll give you 6 months of Netflix or HBO or Max for free. And because they know people watch videos, they know they just don't go on YouTube. And I think the fact that they're doing something with that, that's something to be said. Um, you know, I personally myself, I have, and I'm paying $70 a month, but I have is unlimited data. So I don't watch a lot of, if I'm going to watch a movie, let's put it this way. If I'm going to watch something on Max, okay, I'm going to do it on my computer just because. I don't have the app for my phone. if I'm going to watch YouTube, I'll watch it on my phone. And it's just not because the quality is any less. It's just a movie in itself is meant for big screens and everything else. So yeah, I mean, I'm sorry about that. It's just one of those things that, and the other thing too is you have to be very, very careful about um, when they re-up it, like you were talking about, because I mean, I just had something the other day, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I canceled it and it automatically took it out of the account. So it's one of those things where you've got to really be careful on all those fronts. But yeah, so the Max is going to be starting on May 23rd. Um, we'll see what happens. Talk about user interface and everything else. But I want to, um, so yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see what happens. What do you guys think of the name? Do you like the name Max? Does it remind you too much of Cinemax? Or, could they have gone with a different name? HBO Plus, maybe, or, you know, WBD, maybe. Leave your thoughts down in the comments and I'm going to get back to everybody.